So today, what I was going to talk about, okay, I feel like this potentially could be a nice, short but punchy and really vital to keeping going within your fitness journey, your athletic journey, your movement journey, however you want to see it, like your life journey, because realistically, you are always moving. You want to live the best life. Your body needs to be the best. No pain, all good health, just good well-being all round. So even there always comes a time when we get injured. Yes, I know, I've been there 100%. I've got the scars. Oh, I don't even know if you can see it. Scars there, to prove it. And I'm sure many people have. If you have an injury on one part of your body, two parts of body, all I go to next is what is okay. Not, okay, we've got an injury, let's focus on that. All the negatives, they're over my head so fast. And I just think, okay, what have I got? So my story of my most such crazy time was when I broke my arm. Not only did I break it in 3 places in, I think it was like August 2015, I then re-broke the same arm a whole year later. So I've done all that rehab, patience, blah, 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 blah. Comes to literally August, I think it was, no, maybe it happened September 2015. And then the month before it was a year, so maybe in August 2016, I then broke it again. There is a story to it. Do you guys want to know? I'm sure you might want to know a little bit. So basically, I was doing a round off, and I know a round off. I think I used to do gymnastics, too short and powerful, and to kind of, if you put your hand down wrong, it's a bit of a twisty move. And maybe there were some other little bits before that. Maybe there was a little fracture, and then wham, it snapped like hardcore. My arm was like a triangle. The bone, the skin, the bone did not come out the skin. Mate, I just don't even like visualizing or talking about it, because it's so like, yeah, nah, it was yuck. People even heard it snap. Literally both bones snapped in half, and one of them also had a third break. How crazy, from the most simplest things, like how can that happen? Like, it was so wild. Anyways, so that happened. And just to catch you up, 10 months later, I had 2 metal strips, like bands, put in my bones, and then screws. So the metal was screwed to my bone, and that held it in place. So 10 months later, I then had another operation. They cut open my arm, they took out the metal plates, and I'd been seeing this one consultant the whole time. And for some reason, when I went back after the operation, and when they were just going to let me be free and like, your arm's okay now, I then randomly saw this other doctor, and he basically said, yeah, you're all good to go. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, you can't just say that to me. Like, I need to know like what my arm, like what sort of condition it is in, how can I prep myself? Like, as if they, like, obviously I have that athletic coach mindset of rehab and looking after and building strength. But can you imagine if that was just any normal person who had just severely broken their arm, and then they've had all these plates and screws taken out, which in turn, which I don't think he mentioned to me, you then have all holes, like full holes in your bones, which I didn't clock because he didn't say it to me. And then they just let you go like that. You have to be careful with your arm, because actually your nice solid bone is not solid. It's got holes, like at least 6 holes on both bones. Anyway, so I just said, so I just kind of explained, like, I do gymnastics and a bit of martial arts and la 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 la. And then I said, so when basically can I go back to combat sports? And he was like, or impact, and he was like, 6 weeks. He should have told me 3 months. He said 6 weeks. Anyways, not that I'm gonna blame him, because me being impatient, literally on the 6th week, I went and did a taekwondo competition, like a sparring competition, and all I did was block, because we block, can you see, our arm down to protect our body. and I blocked, and as somebody just roundhouse like kicked here, it broke. And actually there is footage of me somewhere. I keep doing like this as if I know it's feeling wobbly, as if I just kept fighting. I literally kept fighting until I got a headshot, and then they didn't count it. And you can kind of, you know, your coach can like put the card up and say they want to get it checked. So when that happened, because I was like, I got this headshot, and there was a pause in the fight, I then also said to him, I think I might have broke, I think my mum, I can't believe it. I don't know what he thought as a coach, but I just thought, oh, I might have broken my arm again, or I might have, I don't even know what I said. I feel bad even repeating it, because I kind of like put that on him, my coach, you know? But anyways, he took off our thing and he saw it, and he was like, and we saw like a little lump, and I think he probably felt terrible as well. But anyway, so then I had broken my arm. And actually, they were going to do the same thing. They were going to put the plates, put more holes. I was literally, you know, a couple of days, and then I was going into the operation. I had the gown on, and the doctor came to me and said, actually, I hope if you don't mind, I don't want to do this again to your bone, because your poor bone has been through it all already. If we then add more holes, it's just going to make your bone even more brittle. And I was like, well, I'm so glad you have, because obviously another doctor, not insisted, but not prescribed, what's the word I'm looking for? He prescribed that I had this operation so one doctor thought it was a good idea, and I'm just so glad. I don't care what time, you can always stop in someone's decision if it's a better decision to go another way. And he said, we shouldn't do the operation. I hope you're okay with that. And I'm like, yeah, of course, that actually makes total sense. So then they put me in a full cast where I couldn't move this arm, which is really good, because literally the first time when you have the metal plates, you don't have a solid cast. You just have your arm as normal, and they just kind of wrap it up. So yeah, literally, this is me. I break my arm, and I just think, what can I do? Bam, I've got my legs. So I'll definitely be hitting the gym, hitting the weights for my legs. Like, your arm's totally safe. You can totally isolate all your body parts at the gym. So if you have a particular part that you can't use, you can, obviously I definitely wouldn't say, like, if you've done one arm, then don't bash out crazy stuff on the other arm, because you have one super strong arm and one, it'll be very imbalanced. So I always just think, okay, this has happened, but what can I do? Like, yes, now I can do something that I can focus on to make better, so that when I am good, I'm going to be flying. So I really worked on like my calves and my explosiveness, and just mentally, I tried to run very early on. I was literally holding my arm limp, and I would jog. I'm not joking. I would literally jog holding my arm like this, because I thought, cool, well, there's no, even I'm doing this, I'm like, as if you did that, Corinne, you're crazy. But there was no impact, and I felt like I was holding it in position. Anyways, I live to tell the tale, and you can see everything I still do. But I just think if you're positive and you just keep your movement up, like, your body's going to feel great. It's going to work great. It's going to work, you know, over time. All the particles, like, you're energized, you're feeling good. You're going to heal quicker. If you're down, all your particles within you are going to be slower. They're not going to work as hard. And that's how I see it. And I've had really good fast recoveries, so you could say. Obviously, I was then impatient, because I did that fight so soon. If they had taken a bit more care, and if I'd seen my normal consultant who knew exactly who I was, who knew what I was about, she would have said, listen, don't da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But yeah, I do believe that year, like, I was on a massive journey, like, of just understanding the world, understanding me, reading all these books. And I think being more aware, like, I'd read it, but maybe I'd gone back into my usual me cycle of like, well, this is important, I want to do this, let's go. And actually it was like, hang on a minute, you still haven't learnt your lessons from the first time. So even then I'm thinking, oh, this was meant to be. I need to get more in tune with body awareness, understanding, like, you come first over any activity, anything, like your work, like your health, your body, check in every day, your mind. Sometimes if you are thinking, you know, if you've had a breakup, even the first time I broke my arm, I think I moved out of my boyfriend's family house because we used to live together, like on the Wednesday. And then the following Wednesday, we broke up. That's like a whole nother story. I think I'll do some stories on some exes soon. That'll be fun. And we broke up. And then the following Wednesday, I broke my arm. So again, I do personally believe that all these things go hand in hand, 100%. My mind probably wasn't focused. It was probably overtired because of the breakup. I thought, like, that's it. I'm going to train even harder. Like, I'm going to show him, or I'm going to show the world, or whatever I was feeling. Yeah, it's good because I pushed harder, but I was probably exhausting my body, thinking of all of this going on in my mind. And then it led to the broken arm. And it was like, actually, we're going to sit your ass down, even though I didn't really sit my ass down for too long. But, you know, I couldn't really, like, I used to teach kids dance most days. And obviously, like, I couldn't perform. Oh my gosh, I had this insane contract. I don't know if it was both times. I think it was, but pretty much both times, because I got compensation from my insurance each week. And you can only get that if you have a contract, or if you're literally, you have proof that you're a working dancer. So thank goodness I know, but the contract I had, I think it was the second time round, it was such a heartbreaker. There was this huge like dance TV show in Amsterdam, like everyone was sharing a big villa. I think it was like 3 months, and I love Amsterdam. The pay was phenomenal, the dance routines were phenomenal, and fudge, man, I missed out on that because I re-broke my arm. And I didn't need to do that fight. Like, there was no reason. But that's how, you know, you learn these life lessons. And that's how I'm so conscious of when I'm training. You know your body the most, especially if you are a professional athlete, a professional performer. It's your career. You know how your body's feeling. And when you're like, oh, I'm tired, but this is safe enough to keep going and to push through, or you're flipping and tricking and doing twisty things and your mind's not focused and it's actually not secondhand to you. That's another thing. Gymnastics is not like second nature. Neither is martial arts. Dance, on the other hand, yeah, easy peasy. Like, I've done that from 2. It's literally like as if I'm walking. That's how within me it is. So technically, my mind could be elsewhere, and I know my body is safe doing dance. But with all these really to me, they're dangerous sports, gymnastics, martial arts. I think it's because I learned them as an adult, you know? And it's not like I'm walking, it's different. So my mind needs to be switched on, my body needs to be switched on. And yeah, anytime, especially as a coach, I always check in, you're good in terms of your body and even your mind. I check in on my clients, how their state of mind is. And actually, if it's not 100% there, I try and get them very engaged in terms of like engaged in their body, like keeping up high energy. I'm like that as a coach anyways, but I'm even more sensitive, and maybe we'll take it slower, and I'll keep bringing them back to remember your injury. Like, the forefront should always be your injury. So back to injuries, and even rehab. I start the rehab as soon as possible. So with my arm, so I think at one point, you know, like my hand was still free. So I would start doing these things. Like, my hand couldn't be up here, but I'm just showing you, it was always here. I started doing like these things, and I started to move my hands. And I just literally get creative with it, up, down, side, side, round, and round, from as early as possible, because I don't want my whole arm to just literally be non-existent, because that's what happens with injuries. You know, your muscles deplete and they end up just not being there anymore, and then the recovery time takes longer. It's not going to harm your bones to be doing this, you know, but it makes a massive difference. And even with my knee, I like sprained, or I don't think I tore it, I think it was more of a sprain, but it was pretty hardcore on my MCL, which is the inside of your leg. And yeah, I probably rushed some of that rehab a little bit too much. But again, I'm so in tune, I could tell the next day, oh, okay, I've actually irritated it by massaging it, you know? So you clock in day by day. And when you've done a little bit of movement and rehab, and then the next day, if it's feeling good, you're good to keep going and to push a little bit harder and just keep pushing and then just keep pushing. Maybe one day you push too hard and you feel it the next day, but then you just rest, you let it calm down, and then you start again, go a little bit slower. That's if you're really on it to get back to where you were and beyond. I've always then become so much stronger, especially on the other parts of my body that I've worked, that I then hyper focused on because it was the only thing I could do. When I did my leg, I then was like doing loads of pull-ups, push-ups, dips, handstands, because that's all I could do. Swimming, just not using the legs, just using the arms. So yeah, it's always just about working around what's the alternatives, how can you keep it creative, how can you keep yourself active, happy, zoning in, but always the injury. It's like, I literally just see it as a baby. You know, you have this baby and I haven't had a baby, soon come, so maybe I can't talk, but I would presume you would, everything, it doesn't matter about you, your mind, your body, anything that you do now, it is all about the baby. So that's how I see with an injury. It's like, even when I'm walking down the street, I'm trying not to walk down with a limp, you know? I'm like, right, we're just gonna take this really slow, but we're gonna do it in the correct body mechanics that you normally walk, not rushing and doing it fast and causing another injury or, you know, other problems. I really try and keep my body and my form and body mechanics all the same, as if it wasn't there. I think your brain does massively impact your healing process. If it thinks you're okay, it's going to be okay. You know, I definitely believe that. And I would it honestly would be my number one priority, because I think when you're good, you can be there for the rest of the world, for your family, for your work. So put that focus on getting that recovery and strength back and your good well-being. So the next thing, I'm then Googling what helps bone recovery, what's the best foods, what's the best vitamins. So then I go all down that route. I hope it's given you a little bit of inspiration and motivation, and not to be down in the dumps if you have an injury, because you just don't need to be. The rest of your body is good. If your heart is beating, you can always do the food, do the recovery, do the inner work, read, meditate, get closer with your friends, get closer with your family, get more vitamin D, chill, relax in the sunshine. Always try to advance yourself as a human being, no matter what. Don't let nothing pull you down. And I've had some pretty big injuries, and it's my work and it's my social and it's everything in my life, but I didn't think, okay, this is it and the brakes are gonna go on. I was like, we're gonna kill this even more. Say what? Injury or no injury, watch me beast mode, and I want you guys to beast mode all day, every day. Have a great day. It's been great talking to you. Peace out, my lovely people. Stay strong, stay healthy, and enjoy life with a smile.